Welcome to the Edge of NFT podcast with your hosts, Jeff Kelly, Ethan Janney, and Josh Krieger. We aim to bring you not only the top 1% of what's going on with NFTs today, but what will stand the test of time. We explore the nuts and bolts and the business side, but also the human element of how NFTs are changing the way we interact with the things that we love. This podcast is for the futurists and dreamers, the disruptors and creators, the fans and connectors, and the makers and doers that are pumped about this ecosystem and driving where it goes next. World-renowned artist Edgar Plans has entered the metaverse with a bang. Edgar's art, once breaking records in auction houses like Christie's, is now breaking boundaries in Web3 and beyond. His NFT collection of hand-drawn Lil Heroes are playful and mischievous, all while raising awareness around heavy socio-political issues such as gender violence, racism, and climate change. In other words, these Lil Heroes are on a mission to make the world a better place. So Lil Heroes launched in January of this year with 7,777 NFTs and sold out in like 45 minutes, super fast, raised $12 million and has since seen over 18,000 ETH traded and a Discord community form with almost 100,000 members, massive. So we're joined today by Daniel Eilenberg, founder of Lil Heroes, to give us a hot take on what's popping with the project. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, brother, tell us a little bit about this, man. Like, how did the concept come together for Lil Heroes? How did it form?
Absolutely. So the idea of Lil Heroes really came about. We at Exile Studio, the parent company of Lil Heroes, we are an entertainment studio. We produce films, TV, music, and so on. And a friend of mine who's a collector told me about this artist that we had to check out called Edgar Plans. And as soon as I saw Edgar's work, and if you take a look at his paintings, I think you'll see the same. We thought this is perfect to create an animated series and an animated franchise around these characters. They're just incredibly sort of sweet and sort of digestible and friendly. And so we started those conversations with Edgar a little bit over a year ago. And as we saw the NFT develop, amazing projects like World of Women come up, we realized that the right way to start this project, to build a community, to build fandom around what we were hoping to build into the future, was through the launch of the NFTs. And so that's where we started.
Wow. And you can't have heroes without villains, I guess, right? And so this is part of the hot take here is what's happening, with villains now coming up this year.
Absolutely. So as we think about expanding that entertainment brand and franchise that we're building, we couldn't have the Lil Heroes without the Lil Villains. And so we are currently building a new collection. It's called Lil Villains. It's coming out pretty amazing. And we're also thinking in terms of utility. It'll bring new utility into the collection. So we'll be minting again 7,777. If you have a Lil Hero, you'll be able to claim a Lil Villain for free, and the surplus of those will make available to expand the community.
That's great. Yeah, it sounds like some similar thinking with World of Women Galaxy, just around making what you're doing more accessible to more folks and sort of increasing the amount of IP that you have to offer brand partnerships, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you've got this training camp, which is a really innovative initiative in the space. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, so training camp, the way we think about it is sort of a gamified version of sort of what other projects are doing as staking. But in this case, we don't want to tie it to sort of a yield or a financial return. These are not financial instruments, they're art. So we've built this sort of gamification around that, where you'll send your Lil Heroes and your Lil Villains to training camp, and you'll receive rewards, access to Edgar's art, and something that we're really excited about. evolving traits for the NFTs. And, we'll reveal a little bit more about that in the coming weeks.
Amazing. And one of the other distinctive things that we saw here about the project is just the massive growth of your Discord community in a relatively short period of time. So many people strive to craft communities to inspire engagement. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about how you created such an immense community in such a short period of time?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say that we weren't also surprised by their response. I think it was a combination of things. I think, long before we launched Heroes, Edgar's had a long career as an artist. He's really well established in the contemporary art world. His paintings sell in secondary market for about $500,000. And so there was a really large following just around his art and around the opportunity of owning a piece of art by Edgar at a completely different price point from where his art is at today. And so I think it was a combination of that. Plus, we had a strong roadmap with a long-term vision of building an entertainment franchise, and the project is backed by a studio and people that have done this in the past. That have a lot of experience building brands and IP. And I think that sort of set us apart and gave people confidence about the long-term vision of this.
Yeah, it's an amazing one. And again, massive community, really hard to build a community like that. But it sounds like all the pieces that you mentioned came together, and this is the result, and still growing right to this day. So amazing.
Yeah, and just looking at the art, it's just so distinctive and interesting, from the facial expressions to the attributes to the colors. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I think people really responded to the characters when we launched them.
And so you have this, you mentioned it, the TV series coming up. I think Carmelo Anthony, again, thinking about what are these little ingredients of like cool stuff that comes together to inspire following and community. But Carmelo Anthony, the Hall of Fame, or soon to be Hall of Fame NBA player, he's going to executive produce, and you have support from all kinds of people. Jay Blavin, a Nobel Prize winner, right? Maria Ressa, DJ Khaled, will.i.am, like amazing mix of people supporting this thing. Tell us a little bit about that TV series in more depth.
Absolutely. So we're starting to develop that TV show. For us, I think from the inception of the project, we thought really hard about a couple of challenges that we see traditionally in Hollywood. One is the creation of IP. Hollywood is very good at finding IP elsewhere and then adapting it, for TV shows and series. Not so great since the early days of Disney, probably, with a few exceptions, at creating brand new IP. And so we really wanted to sort of test these new technologies and these new opportunities to create fandom and community, to build a television show in a different way. One, starting with the fandom and building that community around it, but also making that development process a little bit more participatory and to bring our community into the development process. When you watch a film, usually all of these things are built in an ivory tower away from the public's eye, and you only get to see the final product. And we thought it'd be a lot of fun to actually build this with the community in a more participatory way and sort of bring them into the process of creating a show. And so that's sort of what we're building. And we have some incredible partners along for the ride. As you mentioned, Carmelo Anthony's an executive producer. We also brought the former president of Hasbro Studios, Stephen Davis, who led, G.I. Joe and My Little Pony and Transformers, and the creation of some really meaningful pop culture franchises as we build this. And we're finalizing right now negotiations with a really well-established Hollywood showrunner, and we'll be opening a sort of virtual writers' room for our community to participate very soon.
That's really, really exciting. And I love that we have two incredible projects with some incredible IP on the show at the same time, both committed to making a bigger impact in the world. And it seems like you're really focused on bringing awareness to some pretty heavy issues like social political issues, including gender violence, racism, climate change. How are you going about that?
Yeah, so look, first of all, I think we have a lot to learn from World of Women, and the work that they've done in that space is really commendable and something that we really look at and are learning. We actually saw that they made their collection carbon neutral, and something that we are looking to do as well. So far, we've done a couple of things. We did an auction with Philips in Hong Kong to raise funds for Save the Children in Ukraine at the offset of the war, and raise some funds for that. We also launched a project with a foundation called Project Hue that teaches shark fishing communities in Southeast Asia, sort of trains those communities to make a living, not out of killing the sharks, but with shark tourism and diving and so on. And so they run these amazing training programs, as I said, to sort of prevent or help shark conservation. And so we partner with them to fund a bunch of those programs around ocean conservation. And I think that it's something that's very important for us at Lil Heroes, that we think about a lot. At the end of the day, communities, especially virtual communities that are not just sort of determined by a location, but sort of these digital communities that come together, tend to come together because people care about an objective, a common goal. They sort of share some commonality, and we want the commonality around Lil Heroes to create real world heroes, to have a community of people that want to have a net positive impact in the world that we live in. And that is really sort of core to everything that we do, and are looking to do it in the future.
Yeah, we all need a hero in our lives for sure. Ralph, yeah, any thoughts for Daniel?
Well, first, I want to get back on what Daniel was mentioning before. I love the concept and idea of virtual writers' room. It's been on our mind for so long, but we have been struggling, to be honest, to implement it, to make it work. Every time we think about, oh, that would be amazing, we think, but if we do that, then this might not work. But I think a virtual writer room with open to the community is really something we have in our mind as well, whether it's for the brand and the franchise storytelling as a whole, but also with our relationship with our own co-production company, Hello Sunshine, in developing the IP. So I think that's a great idea. And then we completely agree on the fact that our community, much like the one of Lil Heroes, are aligned behind a common goal. And I like what you said about being aligned behind having everybody be heroes in the real world or have a net positive impact. I think our communities are really like-minded in this matter. Really, that's the feeling we've had since the beginning.
And by the way, we share with you guys, we're part of the same company as Hello Sunshine. We were acquired by Candle Media, which owns Hello Sunshine. So exactly, we're cousins somehow.
That's cute.
Well, this is an amazing project. So we definitely want our listeners to be able to follow everything you're doing, Daniel, and support you and cheer you on. Where should folks go to make sure that they are staying abreast of everything you have happening?
Yeah, I think our Twitter is a really good place to start. It's at Lil Heroes NFT. It's LIL Heroes NFT. And I would suggest from there, find the link to the Discord to make sure you're on the right server. And that's really the heartbeat of the community.
Amazing. And do we have a date for Lil Villains?
Not yet. We'll be announcing it in the next week or two. We're actually in the audit right now. So just want to make, get over that hump to have a definitive date. Yeah.
All right, cool. And hey, word on the street though is that we do have a little giveaway plan for our listeners as well. You want to give us the scoop on that?
Absolutely. So we'll be giving 3 Lil Heroes NFTs, which in turn will give you the ability to claim Lil Villains. And we're also giving 150 preferential allow list spots. To enter, just follow at Lil Heroes NFT, again, LIL Heroes NFT on Twitter and Instagram. Join the Discord and retweet this podcast episode with the hashtag Lil Villains Mint. Again, LIL Villains Mint, and you'll be able to get on the list.
Amazing stuff. Yeah. So keep an eye on our socials. We'll give all those details again out there and give everybody out here listening a chance to win those sweet Lil Heroes and then Lil Villains. So Daniel, dude, thank you so much for joining us, man. We really appreciate it. Really exciting stuff.
Yeah, Daniel, it's an honor to have you at NFTLA, and we'll look forward to having you back in March 20th through the 23rd, 2023. So that's 3-2023-2023. A lot of threes.
Awesome. Count on it.
We like fun numbers. All right, brother. Talk soon.
Thank you, guys.
The views and opinions expressed on the Edge of NFT podcast reflect solely those views and opinions of the show creators and its guests. We're learning as we go, just like you. Please make sure to do your own research. Our podcast is not financial advice. There are multiple strategies and not all strategies fit all people. You understand that you are using any and all information available on or through this podcast at your own risk.